today we're gonna be doing part 2 of the surprise pop-up shaker card. So today we're gonna be making the actual shaker frame. So let's get started. So for this one, we're gonna need a 5x6 piece of cardstock. I use 110 pounds. You can use any color. This will actually be just that part. So as you can see, the white is not showing because we're going to use a mat behind our sentiment. We are going to need, so this is 5x6 inches, and we're going to score at 1/2 inch and 3/4 of an inch. So we'll get to that in a bit. We're going to need a 3 inch by 4 inch sentiment or picture or whatever you want to put inside your shaker box to decorate, right? We're gonna need a 3.5 by 4.5 cardstock. This will be your mat, but for this one we're gonna cut a smidge off of the top and off of one side, just the top and one of the sides, just so it fits inside our shaker box. And then we're gonna need our acetate. It is a 5.5 by 4.5 piece of acetate. I use project covers. It's called binding covers. These are available at your office supply store. I got mine off at Amazon, and they have a little bit of a blue tinge to it, but you cannot even tell after it's all put together. And I think I like the thickness of this one, but you can sure buy your acetate at Michael's, or I don't know if Joann's has them, but Michael's has some acetate as well. It's a little bit thinner. Like I said, I like the thickness of this one. So you need a 5.5 by 4.5 piece of acetate. Then we will have the frame. Now I'm gonna give you the measurements of this frame and the cover. I'm gonna try to make an SVG to put up for sale on my Etsy store. I'm not sure how to make the actual SVGs, just to in order for me to upload them to my Etsy shop. I can make them on my Cricut Studio, but I need to figure out how to make it so that I can get my files off of my computer. So I'm gonna try to have that in case you're interested. I'm gonna try to have it ready this week in my Etsy shop, which is Keepsakes by Ingrid as well. So the measurements for the frame is 4 5/8 by 5 5/8 with an opening of 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. So it's 4 5/8 by 5 5/8 with an opening of 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. So this is the one that's going in there. But then I always use, and this is what I used to do. And if you don't want to do the backing, you can use what I used to do, which I got 1/2 inch strips and then just covered all the frame sides and top and bottom. That might be easier if you don't want to go to all the trouble to design your frame cover on your Cricut or Silhouette Studio, but I just did it on mine. And like I said, I'm gonna try to get it ready and see if I can have it on my Etsy shop. So this is what we're gonna put on the back of our frame, and our shaker box will be like here. So the measurements for that one are 4.5 by 5.5 with an opening of 3 5/8 by 4 5/8. All right, and those are your materials, your supplies. So let me get everything ready and then we'll start making the shaker box. All right, so the first thing we need to grab is our scoreboard. Like I said, this is our 5x6 piece of cardstock, and we're gonna be scoring at 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch on all sides. 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch. Half inch, 3/4, 1/2 inch, and 3/4. And you should have something that looks like this. Now this is gonna be the base of our shaker box. So grab your scissors, and we are going to cut along these lines. And we're gonna get rid of this corner. So this will be your flap, all right? Again, cut along those 2 score lines and get rid of the corner. And we're gonna do that on all sides. Cut along the 2 score lines and get rid of that corner. And then the last one, and get rid of that corner. And it ends up like this. So you got all 4 corners are cut out, and you got this little flaps that will be the flaps that hold it in place. So let's go ahead and fold along the 3/4 inch score line, and then we're gonna fold along the 1/2 inch score line the opposite way. And we're gonna do the same thing with all sides. 3/4 inch, we fold towards the inside. 1/2 inch, we fold it the opposite way. 3/4 inch to the inside, 1/2 inch to the other. And our last side, 3/4 inch to the inside, and half an inch to the other. So we're gonna end up with our little shadow box form there. So we need to close it. We need to make sure that we secure it into place, and that's what the flaps are for. So let's grab our glue. And like I said, I like to use my 3-in-1 beacon glue. So let's put a little bit of glue on each flap. And then press to form our box. And we'll do the same with the other ones. Hold in place for a few seconds. And those are your flaps in place. Make sure you push it towards the other side so that you make that corner perfectly. All right, you don't want any gaps in there. You want a right angle right there. All right, hold it a few seconds. And that's your shaker box. All right, you got your base there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab the 4.5 by 3.5 mat that we had cut. Remember that I said cut just a smidge? See how it's hard to get in there? This one is still a little bit too long. So I'm gonna take it out and I'm gonna cut just a little bit off of it. just so that it drops in there. I'll be right back. I'm gonna cut just about a 1/16 of an inch on each, on one side and on the bottom or the top. Okay, I'm back, and this is how much I cut off of each side, off of one side and the bottom. Oops, I'm out of frame. Here we go. All right, so you see it's just a little bit. I don't think it's even a 1/16 of an inch. All right, and now we can drop it and it fits perfectly. So let's take it out. Let's put some glue in there. And make sure you really do the corners well. Get all your glue all the way to the corner, because otherwise your glitter will get stuck behind that. All right, press it down. And then go grab your sentiment or your picture, and then we're gonna center it and we're gonna glue. Same thing, make sure you go all the way to the corner. And we're gonna center. And glue. And now comes the fun part. Now we're gonna fill it up with our beads and sequins to give the shaker box effect. So I have seed beads, and these are not seed beads, they're a little bit larger, but then I have these seed beads. I don't know if I want this shade of gold. Let me grab the other one. Yeah, that one looks more like that yellowish. All right, just dunk it in there. You can kind of straighten your shaker box. Careful that it doesn't drop out of the box. And then drop your sequins. And just make sure that you have enough glitter or seed beads. I like to use the seed beads because they don't get stuck to the acetate, because it's already, it grabs all the static, and then once you put it in there, you'll see how the sequins get stuck to it. So glitter is even worse. So once you put it in there, everything will stick to this. So some people have told me to put some cornstarch in it. I tried it, but even though I put just a teeny tiny amount of it, you could still see the dust of the cornstarch. So I didn't like the look of it. Like, it clouded my acetate, so I didn't like that. So I just try to put some seed beads or heavier beads that will drag the sequins or the glitter. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and glue, and we're gonna put the glue in the cardstock, not the acetate. All right, and make sure that you go all the way to the edge, to the inside edge. Not that one, that doesn't matter that much, but this one, because you really want to close that that acetate window. I'm sorry, I'm sniffling. I had a procedure done in my nose, and it's still a little bit swollen, so I'm sniffing all the time. Okay, so clean your acetate. Make sure it doesn't have any glitter or anything in there, because once you glue it, that's it. And center it. And if you need to squish your edges, just to make sure that it matches your acetate, then go ahead and do that. And make sure it's sealed off. Now, I spilled some of my glue in there, but it's gonna be covered by the frame is gonna cover that, because that I made the frame specifically a little bit larger so that it will cover in case I had any spillage, or just so that I made sure that my white doesn't show through. So this is thicker than this. All right, so you can see that's enough glitter so that it will rain down. And my biggest issue was that if I use glitter, not so much the seed beads, I forgot to put the little stars in there. I usually put let me show you the glitter that I use. I purchased this shape glitter over at Michael's, and it's really cool because it has all the hearts and stars. I forgot to put the hearts on this one, I mean the stars, but that's all right. And it comes in different colors, but they are very sticky with the static, and they tend to crawl out of this little corners. So that's why I was emphasizing that you really need to cover the edges with the glue, because otherwise they will start to come out of there. And that's why I made the backing, because with this it will seal all the corners and your glitter will not come out. So whether you do the frame with the measurements that I gave you, or you just use the strips like this, either way, make sure that it goes all the way to the end, and then the other one comes on top and covers that. All right, so that your glitter and whatever you put it in there, it doesn't get out of that little corner, and then you lose all your glitter out of there. All right, so now let's glue the frame itself. Remember, never put the glue on the acetate, put the glue on your paper. And remember that this frame is a little bit larger, so don't go all the way to the edge. All right. Kind of center that. You can look at the back and make sure it's centered as well. You should have about a 1/16 of an inch on each side. All right. And now make sure that you press down all the sides. And then, like I said, if you want to go ahead and cut 1/2-inch strips and then cover the sides and the top and the bottom of your frame, you can go ahead and do that. If you don't have the SVG for the frame, or you cannot come up with the design on your Cricut or Silhouette Studio, then go ahead and do that. If I get to upload the SVG to my Etsy shop, then it will be for sale. I will let you guys know. So let's go ahead and glue this one to the back, and our shaker box will be ready. And this one, you do have to make sure you go all the way to the edges so that it gives that perfect seal, so your glitter will not come out. All right. And press. So you can go ahead and leave your comments in there if you're interested in the SVG for the frame and the backing. So if you're really interested, then I will go ahead and try to get it ready to put on my shop. And that's it. That's your shaker box. Now you can, this is just the largest size that I designed to fit on the card. So the card is 6 by 6, and this is the largest size that you could fit, so it didn't extend all the way above the edges of the card. But you can certainly use a round frame for shaker box, or a square one. I just decided to do that. This was the first one that I did, but I have used some other shapes as well. Like on my TikTok, I have a quick tutorial of the round one, which is done a little bit differently. But you can go ahead and check that one out. But that's pretty much it. So on the next part, we will be assembling the pop-up ball, and then we'll be ready to pull together the card. All right, so there you go. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you get your creative juices flowing and make your own shaker box. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.